are times when I find myself sitting in a play area in my living room. Not kidding. I'm retired or semi-retired, as it were. My plan was to do a YouTube channel on into my retirement up until the day I die. And even then, I might try to do one last live stream. But right now, I find myself at times sitting in a play area in my living room. There's toys stacked beside me. There's stuffed animals somewhere. And my granddaughter is crawling all over the place. She's just over a year old. She's on the verge of walking. And as soon as she starts walking, look out. But right now, she's crawling at an amazing pace. When she takes naps in my bedroom of all places. This is the only hour or so that I get during the day when she's here. An hour to an hour and a half when I get to do stuff, work on anything. And I have a hard time concentrating when I know I have a specific amount of time. That's a different issue. But what I want to talk about is this is how retirement actually looks like. And it's not what I'd planned. It's not what I expected. It's not what I was hoping for. I do know this, my Social Security is not that good, and having a YouTube that will eventually down the road supplement my income, my retirement income, then that's the reason why I'm doing it. And that's kind of a cool thing. But there's a gap right now between the reality that I had in my mind for what I was going to do and the reality of taking care of a granddaughter 3 days a week. Tuesday is my day off. I'm live. There you go. It's my day off. And on this day off, I shoot video, I edit video, I upload video. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I take care of my granddaughter. Friday, that's the day where I have to do all the stuff around the house, mow the lawn, this, that, everything else. And if I get a chance in there for an hour, I do have a standing meeting every Friday morning with a colleague, and we work on a podcast. So there's something else. And the gap is between the reality of what I'm living through right now and my ideal. And there is no ideal when it comes to retirement. Everything is different. Now, it may sound like I'm complaining about having to take care of my granddaughter. And I got to be honest with you, I kind of am, but I dare not. And I am not. I mean, the fantasy of retirement is an open calendar, and I work when I want to, and I work on projects that I want to work on. I do the things I choose to do on any given day because I'm retired. But the reality is 25 hours a week, you're dictated by a 1-year-old's nap schedule, feeding schedule, diaper changing. There's no schedule to that, by the way. There's no diaper changing schedule. It's look and oof. Yeah. So really, I get 1 day a week to work on this and to do a live stream. That's why the only reason why my live stream is on Tuesdays, because it's the only day of the week that I have. And so this is the frustration. And there are times when I am absolutely quietly within myself angry, mad, upset, ticked off, however you want to say it in near extreme terms. It is how I am, because I don't get the fantasy of an open calendar and working when I want and working on projects. And I mean, the plans that I have for YouTube as a business are greatly diminished unless I work 4 or 5 hours every evening. And I could do that, but I have a wife. And I'd like to spend time with my wife. And she likes me to spend time with her, even if it's just sitting in a room together, her watching one thing and me watching something else, or her reading and me, whatever. You get the idea. Because she still has a full-time job. But again, what I've lost in my mind, what I have lost is the open calendar and the work when I want and take a walk when I want and working on the projects that I choose to work on and having the time to try new things and create new things and more creatively edit video, all those things. That's what I've lost. I have lost, to break it down, I have lost time. I've lost time to myself. I've lost time to do what I'd been hoping to do for several years for when I got to this point. I've lost time, a lot of time, weekly, that is greatly hindering my plans and what I want to do. That's how it is. That's what I've lost. Here's what I've gained. Yeah. I have gained 25 hours a week. And I've done this since, for the last 9 months, by the way, for the last 9 months. So what I've gained is 25 hours a week watching a baby 7 weeks premature in NICU for 3.5, 4 weeks. What I've gained is 25 hours a week of hugging a baby. Not only a baby, hugging my granddaughter. And we have one daughter, and our one daughter is married to one husband, and together they have one baby, one child. And I get to spend 25 hours a week hugging this baby, changing this baby's diapers, feeding this baby, playing with this baby, putting this baby down for a nap. Yeah. What have I gained? That's what I've gained. How can I be mad and upset at losing my time when I've gained all that time with a granddaughter? I've gained all that time. Yeah. I mean, what I get to do every now and then, and not every now and then, I do it 4 or 5 times every day when she's with me, which is a good 3 out of 5 days, sometimes 4 out of 5 days, sometimes. But 3 out of 5 days is I get to breathe upon her a blessing that God put upon my heart to put into her life. And yeah, I'm almost on the verge of speechless, which is a miracle for me. What I've gained time with a granddaughter that can never be replaced. Can never be replaced. On the one hand, I'm mad that I don't have the time, and on the other hand, I'm blessed beyond measure to spend that much time with a granddaughter. I mean, when our daughter was born, I still had to go to work. I didn't get to stay at home and spend 3, 4 days with my daughter because I was working a full-time job that was 45, 50, 60 hours a week. That's another story. But yeah, so needless to say, God's calendar isn't my calendar. He isn't, the calling I thought I had isn't necessarily the calling I have. And let's be very clear about something. I'm actually doing my next video that I'm putting out is going to be on this is that God isn't calling me or you or anybody to start a YouTube channel. He's not. YouTube channel is a platform. Maybe you feel God is calling you to share what you have with other people and you don't know how to do it. That's a YouTube channel. It's a tool. It's a platform. But what I've gained is perspective in the idea that it's God's calendar, and this is how I should be using my time right now, is hugging a granddaughter that I may not have the chance to do in 10 more years. I don't know. But the thing you can't see at age 50 is the work you do off camera shapes the person who shows up on camera. And I'm not putting my granddaughter on camera. It's not my daughter. I don't get that say. And I'm not asking for that say. She's not going to be on camera. Now, not until parents allow such a thing. But the things you do off camera shape the person that you become on camera. Think about that. Because if I ask you to do some of the things that, like my whole goal is to have you, as a retired or a semi-retired person, start now, share what you know, help others. Now, I was in ministry for 23 years. I went to college, got a 4-year degree in ministry and religion. I went to work as a youth pastor in the suburbs of Buffalo, New York, 90% Catholic, to a church that was growing pretty well. Had a youth group, and I was their first or second hire as a staff person. And the very first week, I was an idiot. I came out of college thinking I knew absolutely everything. Did I? No, I did not know everything. I knew nothing. I had a degree. Doesn't mean I was good at anything at that point, other than working hard enough to get a piece of paper to hang on the wall. But there was a guest speaker that very first Sunday that I was there, and she spoke, and afterwards I was introduced, and they brought up, hey, this is Bill's very first week in full-time ministry. And she looked at me and she said this, and I remember it word for word to this day. She said, find a need and meet it. And this is another part where I'm an idiot, because I'm thinking, I have a degree. I know how to do programming. I know how to do youth group outings. I know how to do all of those things. And man, my first couple months there was absolute lunacy. It was basically me trying to learn how to walk, because I had no clue. I just had a piece of paper on the wall. That's really all I had. So I had to learn from square one how to actually do something. And if I'd only listened to her, if I'd only listened to her and find a need and meet it, it's really that simple. It really is. And that's the idea now with YouTube, is finding a need. I believe there's a need for people, semi-retired and retired. They have something to share, and they're not sure how to share it or where to share it, or what the best use of their way to share it. Because people our age, we have a career, a lifetime of knowledge that other people need to hear. Yes, they do. And for us not to share it, oof. Yeah, that's going to be a video in and of itself. It might be the next video that I do, in with what I already said. But that being said, I mean, I've shared with you what I've lost, but what I've gained. I've lost the time I wanted to do YouTube with. I've gained the time that I get to spend with my granddaughter, that most grandparents never get a shot at. For perspective, I mean, when our daughter was born, we lived 1,100 miles away from her grandparents on either side of the family. We live 14 miles away. We get to see them about all the time. Not only that, even with me seeing her all the time, my son-in-law was helping me with a little bit of wiring in the house, and so the whole family came over, and I got to see my granddaughter again. Although I was doing wiring and stuff, I still got to see my granddaughter for a few minutes even then. And the fact that she knows me so well, she sees me 25 hours a week. The fact that she knows me so well, she comes to me without any problem at all. She's safe in my arms, and that's earned trust. So that's what I've gained. But so how am I making this work? I have 1 day a week. And maybe you're thinking, well, Bill, I've only got, if I may not even have 1 day a week to start a YouTube channel and to do video. Well, I'm working it out to where I know that I've only got one day. So this is the stuff that I've got to get done. And for the one day, I call it ruthless prioritization. I know what I've got to do. It's like my one day where I get up, see my wife leave for work at 6:15 in the morning, immediately shower and shave, have a coffee, come in here, and I either have a video to record, or I have a video to edit, or I've got both to do. I've got the live stream, several things. I've got several things going on, but I've got a day that's planned, and this is part of that plan. So I batch videos if I've got them all set up, and during my granddaughter's nap time, I have about an hour undisturbed in the morning and in the afternoon. But some people just can't work and focus in 1 hour at a time. And I have a hard time doing that at this stage of my life. I get distracted very easily. There's squirrels everywhere. There's just, yeah. So what I've got prioritizing. So sometimes during that 1 hour, I will figure out a thumbnail, and tweak, and at least get it started, at least get it ready. Working on some tactics. I'll do a lot of work with Claude, which is AI. I will get some things done with Claude where I'll ask a question, but then I can come back in an hour and it's still there. So Claude's still working for me. And I appreciate an assistant like that, where I give Claude some tasks, and those tasks get completed without anybody without arguing, which is kind of cool. So I guess the lessons that I've got for this is the idea of constraints on my time are a gift if you're willing to receive them as a gift. Now, you may be in your 50s or 60s, or maybe somewhat kind of in my situation. I'm not sure, but maybe you're a person who is a caregiver as well as being retired, but you have a caregiver, whether it is maybe even your mother or father that is much older than you and needs caregiving. And that can be taxing, and that can be exhausting. And you may be taking care of a grandchild. You may be doing something just like me, or even more. You may have custody of that grandchild. And so your priorities are all kinds of different, but there's still the opportunity to prioritize your time in such a way that, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel about this, and this is how I'm going to do it. And that's what I like to help people with. I like to help people to start now. Doesn't matter where you are. I have all kinds of excuses for not doing a YouTube channel. I have a throat condition. It's working pretty well today, but I do have a throat condition. I've got stock in Ricola, which is the throat lozenges. I mean, I buy the bags weekly, and I'm not talking about the small ones in the grocery store. I'm talking about the big ones at Sam's Club. So I've got that excuse. I've got the excuse of I don't have the time. I've got all the excuses. I just refuse to allow those excuses to stop me. There's sometimes when I have to do videos 2 or 3 times just because of my throat. Now, on top of that, right now, like this month, I've got something else going on, and it can be shown to you just briefly. So, yeah, so there's where I play with my daughter. We got tunnels. That's half of our living room. Our living room isn't even a living room anymore. But right off to the left of that is an open area, which is our dining room. And I've got a laptop set up in the dining room, so that's where I actually do stuff. So I can keep track of her and stay in that one spot and maybe get something done. Maybe. I'm trying to think, where is this? There we go. So the other thing that we're working on, I know that I'm just sharing a whole lot of personal stuff, but I mean, if I've got it, you got it. Here's what I'm doing right here. But here's just a part of my office. Look at that. Those are the drawers from my kitchen. If I want to get a utensil, I got to get it right there. Or a knife, I got to get it right there. And you're thinking, why do I have to do that? I got to get back to work. Nope. There. So why is that there? Well, we're renovating the kitchen. The cabinets are getting, or not the cabinets, but the countertop is getting taken off. We're putting in a granite countertop. We're getting new facing on all the cabinets. We're getting new drawers, and everything had to be painted on the inside. And my wife is rearranging the entire area, and it's not going to be done for another 3 weeks. And so we're living. My wife's office is right behind mine when she works from home. And right behind mine is in her office, she's got another table set up with a bunch of other stuff on it, all from the kitchen. And the first thing we thought of is, man, we got a lot of junk. We got to get rid of half of this junk. I mean, she's right. And I agree with her. We have to get rid of half of this junk. Yeah. But this is our life. This is my retired life. This is me being retired. No, I don't get to play golf. And trust me, you don't want me to play golf. Golf to me is a nice way to ruin a walk in the woods. Old golf joke. So let me leave you with this. I'm not seeing any chats, and right now nobody's watching right now anyway, so it's going to be great as a repeat off thing down the road. You can watch it later. But I'm reminded more often than not these days of Ecclesiastes 3:1. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Well, the season for me right now is not necessarily being a YouTuber. It is secondary to being a grandfather. And that's the coolest part of this. So with that, I'm just going to leave that right there. And if you have any comments, tell me what your idea is. Tell me what your how do you make your retirement work with trying to fit in a YouTube channel, creating a YouTube channel. Maybe you have all the time in the world. I'd love to hear about it, but maybe you don't. But you want to. You don't have the time, but you want to start a YouTube channel. I'd love to hear about that too. And if we haven't met, thanks for listening. My name is Bill. I am in the Front Range of northern Colorado. I look east, it's flat. I look west, it's the Rocky Mountains. And I thank God every day when I see the Rocky Mountains. I just thank God for His majesty and for bringing us to this part of the country. That's all I've got. Take care. God bless. See you next week. I'm here every Tuesday at 2:00, unless something else comes up. And we know what that means. But my plan is every week. So take care.